I'm at Steep Rock today location scouting for shooting the Perseid meteor shower. It is peaking this weekend, so one of the things that I think is very good to practice when doing landscape night photography is to do your location scouting during the day. One of the benefits of coming here during the day is I have the opportunity to see what it looks like in daylight. I can kind of look and frame up my shots and kind of get an idea in my head of what I want my photograph to look like and how I'm going to plan that. So I kind of walked all the way down, I looked at everything, and I took some photos on my phone. And actually what I do is I will mark their location using an app called Gaia GPS as well, so I can kind of line up almost the exact composition that I want to do during the day, and I know the exact spot that it is. So it's very easy to come back to the spot that I want to shoot at during the night. And it kind of just makes it easier to get into the groove of photographing, and then you get to spend more of your time and focus in the field at night actually taking the photos rather than just trying to get everything set up. What I'll do is I'll come out here, I'll walk up and down the shoreline here because there's all these beautiful limestone cliffs along the shore of Lake Manitoba, and I kind of find the area that I think appeals to me the most. And so I can actually take a photo through the app, and it marks that exact location. So I can go back to my tent this evening and kind of flip through the photos that I took and decide, this is the one that I want to, this is the photo that I want to go for. And then I don't have to fumble trying to find that place again at night. I can just come straight back here. I already have an idea of what that composition wants to look like. I know exactly where my tripod needs to be. I set it up and I shoot, and I'm ready to go. One approach that I could take to my photo shoot tonight is that I can just come here like right at dark, walk up and down, try and find a spot, take a photograph here, take a photograph there, maybe adjust the camera up a little bit, take another one, see how I like it, switch lenses, maybe I like that better, maybe I don't. And this activity of guess and check, basically trying to find your composition at night, can sometimes take an hour, 2 hours. It can chew up a lot of your valuable shooting time at night. Another approach I like to take is more actively location scouting, and this is an activity that I think is best done during the day. So the major reason for that is that I can come here during the day, I can see exactly what I'm doing, I can see where I'm going. I'm not going to accidentally walk off the cliff because I can't see it in the dark. It's a lot easier for me to kind of move across the area more quickly, take in the environment, get a feel for it, and kind of have a vision in my head of what I want my final photograph to look like. The other thing I like to do is I'll take sort of a mock photo. So I'll line up the composition for real in my camera, I'll put on my tripod, and I'll figure out exactly how I want to frame the composition. So the benefit of doing this now is that not only do I know what I want from my composition, I also have a reference photo, so that like when I'm coming here during the dark, I can kind of like, right there, that's perfect. A final thing that I like about location scouting during the day is that once I've done my mock photo in the camera, I'll take my phone and I'll use an app called Gaia GPS to take a photo. And what that does for me is I have a reference photo on my phone that I can flip through later in the evening when I go back to my campsite and decide which was my favorite composition that I found during the day. The other thing that this app does for me is it because you can just do that with your regular phone, but what this does is it attaches it to a GPS location that you can basically use in the evening, come back exactly to this spot with ease, and be able to set up, frame your composition because you already know what you want, and then you spend a lot less time trying to find the photo that you want, and you spend a lot more time taking it. So I think that it's a great practice to get into. This area was interesting to me because I saw a few different compositions immediately when I walked up to this little bay here in the rocks. So one of the first things that actually captivated my attention was there's a bit of rock that juts out like a pier, so it's kind of going straight out into the water. So I thought maybe a shot where you have the camera lined up looking directly out, and you can have two people standing on the end of the rock and just looking up into space and watching the meteor shower. And so that might be a compositional tool that can help the viewer transfer themselves into the image and imagine themselves standing on that rock on the shoreline with the water kind of lapping behind them, watching the meteor shower. One of the things I like about this particular scene too is that there's the rock that was behind me there, and it kind of curves around, and so you kind of have sort of this shape here, and it also sort of forms a concave bowl. And I think that's a pretty good compositional tool because it kind of like brings you in, but also sort of these 2 points make a triangle with the island that can be centered in the middle, and that can be a powerful tool for bringing the viewer's attention to this point, and then they're right up there in the sky with the meteor shower. So that might be a way that I can use more of the environment, focus the photo more on the environment, and try and find a compelling composition. Now, there's a third and final composition that I had in mind when I was kind of looking at this particular scene. There's a circle of 6 or 7 large stones down in this little basin area here, and it just kind of seemed nice. There's one in the middle, and I was kind of thinking I've got, it's like a little tea light but battery powered. It's a small LED. I can put it down there behind one of the rocks, so you kind of have an orange-red glow kind of coming from inside the rock circle, and kind of have 2 people standing down there, again looking up at the stars or looking into the fire. Either is good, and I think that would kind of use the same general composition as centering the island in the middle, but it would kind of overpower that sort of triangle by having the people being the center of attention down in the middle. So there's kind of 3 different compositions that I can think of in this particular area, 3 different ways to use the environment that we're in. Going back to location scouting, I think it's really valuable to be able to come here during the day and being able to figure some of those compositions out, and then again, when you get there at nighttime, you're just ready to roll. All right, so I'm here on location in the evening. I've been here for about 2 hours already, and so I've already got about 5 or 6 variations of foregrounds that I think I can use. All of them I kind of scouted and had planned during the day, like I had mentioned earlier. I have 2 cameras going right now. So one of the cameras I was just kind of working with, and I was kind of more actively working with that camera. So I'm going by, I'm taking the photos of the foregrounds, and I'm taking some longer exposures so that the foregrounds are a bit brighter, and then I'm going to try and stack them to remove some of the noise just so I get a better quality image. And then now I have that same camera is on my star tracker, and so I'm taking some tracked images of the sky that I can blend back in, and that also is just a technique that'll give me better quality, less noisy images. Further down, I have another camera set up that's just taking constant 15-second exposures. So there's kind of 2 reasons for that for me. One is just the constant exposures is going to allow me to make a time lapse out of it later when I get home. And the second reason is because while I'm shooting the time lapse, like if I'm trying to shoot a meteor, if I see the meteor and then I hit the shutter release, I've already missed it because my reaction time isn't fast enough. So the best way to do it is to just have your camera continuously shooting and continuously taking exposures, and I'm hands-free. I can actively work with my other camera, and I'll get all the meteors in that one direction. So once I'm finished with my tracked photos, I'll swing that camera around and I'll just take random exposures of a different part of the sky and hope to catch more meteors. So let's take a look at those images and see what we got.